What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Network, and today I'm bringing you my reaction to the second episode of Season 6 of Game of Thrones. This episode was called Home for various reasons. A lot of people going back to where they were, etc., etc., and we'll get into that. Guys, if you don't know, every week after the episode airs, I record a reaction, and then I come here, sit down, and we talk about the episode. So if you have any comments on the episode, please go to the comments below and let me know what you thought of the video. I want this to be a conversation between both of us, or all 50 million of us, because Game of Thrones is huge. So I'd like it to be a huge conversation, and that only starts with you going in that comment box saying, hey, it's what I thought about this. This is what I read from this. Because I know my opinion is not fact, okay? It's not fact when it's opinion, okay? So, let's get a conversation going in the comments below. So, episode starts off. See a character we haven't seen since Season 4. Season 4, we didn't even see him in Season 5. This is Season 6. Of course, that character is Bran. So, that's a whole season off. The flashback that happened here, he's, in warg form with the three-eyed raven. The three-eyed raven is showing him a flashback of Winterfell when Ned and Benjen and their sister were all younger. This is not your normal flashback. It isn't just a way of telling a story or whatever. It's adding more to the lore, to the history of Game of Thrones, because that's something that hasn't really been done, and I think it's a pretty interesting way. I can't wait to see what they do with that, because Bran is kind of this character we haven't seen in a while. I really like that, seeing Hodor as young Hodor, and seeing that he actually was intelligent and that he talked was pretty cool. Now, when they came out of the vision and everything, Bran was pretty upset that Three-Eyed Raven would pull him out of there, and he said something pretty interesting. He said, It is beautiful beneath the sea, but if you stay too long, you'll drown. Saying that if you stay too long in your warg form or whatever, you'll be trapped there. It's going to be a permanent thing. So I think it's pretty interesting that this guy is trying to bestow that knowledge onto him. Now to Castle Black, Thorne is trying to get into the room with Jon Stark. I don't know, not Jon Stark, Jon Snow. He is part of the Stark family, but he's a bastard. But he's, big on trying to get in that. Now, what incurs after that is freaking awesome. The giant busting down the gate of Castle Black and just wreaking havoc, smashing the dude up against the wall. And Thorne and the traitors to Jon Snow are arrested and put into cells. We all knew that was coming, but it was freaking awesome, especially with a giant. Now, Tomlin. We haven't seen Tomlin since last season, and the thing that they're using him here for is pretty interesting. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see what happens throughout this. Tomlin is talking to Jaime, saying that he feels like he's a failure as a king because he's supposed to protect the realm, and that he couldn't even protect his mother, that they paraded her through the streets like she was some whore or whatever. And Jaime's like, you just need to go tell her that you're sorry. And when Tomlin goes tells Cersei that, she's kind of cold, in my opinion, but she understands and she says that she would help him. And I think there's going to be some violence up in King's Landing very, very soon. Now, the High Sparrow in these scenes, Jaime threatens his life, and so far, the High Sparrow has been pretty. He's been pretty good about keeping it more about the faith and all of that. But he's pretty much said that with all of these people that don't have names, don't have titles, don't have money, don't have power, and all of that, that all of them combined, they can topple an empire. Now, him saying that was kind of a bold statement that if you don't toe the line, that we're going to, kill all of you, or we're going to make sure that you're not in power. So I think that's the first time that the Sparrow is really, came out of this, oh, I'm just a humble servant of the Seven or whatever. So I felt it was a pretty interesting step right there for that character. Now, Tyrion. We go to Meereen and we see Tyrion, and he has an idea of gaining the trust of the dragons. And I thought it was a really cool scene. I thought it was pretty well done. CGI was pretty good. And he does gain the, trust of the dragons. But at the end of the scene is what I'm really bringing this up. He tells Viserys, yeah, that's his name, Viserys, to, if he ever comes up with an idea like that, to punch him in the face. Now, this might be, Peter Dinklage just ad-libbing right there, and that's totally fine. But this is the first time in the season so far, we've only got 2 episodes, that I felt like this was something that George Martin would not write. And it was just kind of like, all right, okay, it might be funny to other people, but it didn't feel like Game of Thrones right there. And I love Peter Dinklage and I love everything he does, but it just felt kind of out of place for Game of Thrones. So I hope that isn't the case throughout the rest of it, that we see more and more of that. But just wanted to let you know that that was something I was thinking when that happened. To Ramsay Bolton up in the north. Sansa got away, all of that good stuff. Roose Bolton is talking to Ramsay and Carl Starks. It's the Starks that Robb chopped off the dude's head way back when, okay? The Carl Starks, yeah. And they're all talking and everything, and Roose gets the news that he has a true-born son, and Ramsay goes to congratulate him, and Roose says, "You are and will always be my firstborn son." And Roose says, that helps me a lot, thank you, and all of that. And then stab, stabby, stab, and then no more Roose. Now, we kind of got that going, got that from a while back when Roose said that Lady Walder was pregnant. But what happens after this is very, very, it doesn't show stuff, but it is graphic, where Ramsay lets dogs loose on Lady Walder and the baby, and they tear them to shreds. You don't see it, but you hear it, and it was pretty disturbing. It wasn't, I knew what was fixing to happen, but couldn't take my eyes away. So just know that's going into that. We go back to the Ironborn. This has been kind of just there, hasn't really been touched in a while, and what actually happens here actually happened way earlier in the books, and they haven't really touched it until now, and that's Theon's dad being killed. He actually, in the books, he just slips off of the railing and everything. He isn't thrown over by his brother or anything like that. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm glad that they're shaking up that and bringing in some of the stuff that they kind of just glanced over. They really didn't take care of earlier when it should have been. So I'm glad that's going on. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk, two last things. Arya Stark. The scenes with her have been hasn't been super violent, but it's been getting the crap knocked out of her. And we've seen that over and over throughout this, but getting to see where she's offered the chance of, if the girl has a name, she gets to sleep in a bed tonight. If the girl has a name, she gets a meal tonight. If the girl has a name, she gets her eyesight. And she is on the path of becoming something other than Arya Stark here. And I think that's pretty interesting. I think Game of Thrones is going in a really good way. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is Davos and Melisandre and what happens at the very end of the episode. Davos and Melisandre have been pretty much the angel and the devil when it comes to Stannis and everything that they were advising Stannis on. But since the ramifications of the first episode and some of the previous episodes in season 5 of what went on from Melisandre's council. Melisandre is very, very self-loathing almost. She doesn't have any confidence in herself. She doesn't have confidence in her faith. She still believes in the Lord of Light. She has faith in him, but she doesn't think that the Lord of Light has faith in her. So she's very down on herself here. But Davos goes and asks her to try to bring Jon Snow back. And the whole scene with her trying to bring him back is really interesting, where she's trying with so much earnest to do this right, to say the right words, to put the emphasis on the right places. And it really comes off, it's a really good scene for whoever the actress is, I don't know her name. It comes off as just something that's just, you know, she's in there, she's actually acting. And just that one little line where she says, please, I was sold on that performance. And just amazing, okay? Now with the, I think his name is something Giantsbane, leaves the room because nothing happens. Then another, I think one of the Night's Watch leaves, then Melisandre, then Davos leaves the room because nobody believes that this is going to happen. Now, Ghost is left in the room and you see him stir. And the end of this episode, just, I can't wait to see what is going to happen next episode and the next episode. And that's one thing that Game of Thrones has really going for them right now, is they're treading new water. They're not having to, you know, cut out any fat or anything like that. They're really, you know, writing their stuff the way they want to. And even with the punch me in the face line, it still was a really interesting episode. And I can't wait to see what is going to happen next week with all of the stuff. We didn't see any Daenerys this episode, but it's still a really good one. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. We have stuff throughout the week and every Sunday or Monday, whenever this goes up, right after the premiere of the new episode, you're going to get one of these. Comment down below, guys. Please, 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 please. And guys, we have an awesome live show that will be coming May 21st. Keep coming back for more information about that because we'll let you know. Guys, thanks for nerding out with me. This has been Zach, and have a week.